Scott Hamilton with Rockfile Radio. Very proud to be in the presence of David Draiman. Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm having a fabulous time. How about yourself?
I'm going to be having an even more fabulous time in a couple hours once I get up there on stage, but everything's great.
Awesome. Well, it's got to be... Well, let's start with an easy question. All these years in Disturbed, big fame, big fortune, big fun. You took some time off, the hiatus, the marriage, and some time, and then boom, we have a new project. Why not a solo album? Why did we do a collaborative project?
Nothing in life is solo.
Good answer.
It doesn't matter what anybody tells you, and the minute that anybody tries to claim that, they're discounting all the people around them that have made them who they are. I don't ever view anything that I've ever done as solo, and I certainly couldn't have written the record without the strength of songwriting of Mr. Gino Leonardo. I couldn't be out here on the road without the power of Virus and Will behind me and my crew. Nothing in life is solo. I just don't personally view it that way.
Like that. Very good answer. Vilify's taken off. It's a big song at Rock Radio right now. You got to be thrilled. But I got to be honest, you guys released some audio about a week and a half ago, and I posted that cover of Close My Eyes Forever.
You and a bunch of other people.
I mean, it is blowing up, my friend. And of course, I asked the record label, well, maybe this summer. We're concentrating on Vilify. Well, I'm not going to move Vilify out of heavy, but that's going to be a release, right?
I think that we are presented with a very wonderful problem, and that is that we have so many contenders that the argument persists.
Right.
And God bless. There
are worse problems to have.
There are definitely worse problems to have. You do run into the question of, do we want to brand the band with a cover song?
Right.
But I think that there's less of a issue with this particular baby band because there's already an awareness of it that's pretty significant. And if I weren't associated with it, and this is just baby, 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 I might be less inclined. But I don't know. I'm still on the fence. I love the song, and love what we did together with it. I busted.
It's a stellar performance from both of you.
Thank you.
Really.
Thank you. I mean, Lizzie is ridiculously talented, and it was a pleasure to work with her. We've been talking about doing the cover for years. I'm glad we ended up doing it on the device.
Well, that was going to be the next question. Why that particular song, and why her?
Because she's the best.
Nice.
Because there's nobody that touches her. In all honesty, I think that she's the strongest female rock voice in existence. Period.
Excellent.
Modern.
And maybe they're finally getting their due after the Grammy win. It seems like you can't go anywhere without hearing her.
Yeah, God bless her. God bless her, and God bless the whole band. I wish them nothing but continued success.
But this particular song,
it's one of the greatest rock ballads of all time. Rock duets of all time. How many rock duets exist? Not many. Particularly between male and female.
Right.
Okay, so this is just a very unique moment. It was a unique moment in time back in the 80s when Ozzy and Lita did it. It's a huge hook, for God's sake. You can't forget it.
No.
And I really wanted to pay tribute to their greatness.
And I think your production is different. You wiped that layer of 80s cheese off the top and kept the song intact, kind of.
You said that.
Hey, love Ozzy, love Lita.
I was simply trying to take a fresh approach, and Gino was tremendously inventive in terms of how we created the musical bed. The saturation of strings and synth electronica is very beautiful in it, and it's definitely a texture that we could not have appropriately utilized on a Disturbed record, which is why I'm so happy we were able to do it with Device.
I read that you went places vocally that you could never go with Disturbed.
Oh, have you ever heard me sing like that on a Disturbed record?
No.
That's purely classical technique.
Right.
And now I still do put my grit on it every once in a while, because when it hits, if I hit a satisfying full high note and I know I can put a little bit of aggression on it for a moment, I can't help myself, so I still go there. But look, whether it's Close My Eyes Forever or Through It All, the track I did with Glenn Hughes, or Haze, or War of Lies, or even the way that the chorus is sung in You Think You Know, the very opening track of the record. Very different stylistically to anything I normally do vocally on a Disturbed record. And just having the opportunity to not worry about what's expected for David Draiman from Disturbed for a minute.
Because that beast has gotten pretty large these days. You got to worry about that.
Yeah, but to lay down the mantle for a minute and just be like, you know what, let me do what feels right instead of what I think needs to be within the following parameters. And it was really refreshing to be able to do that. I mean, I never ever want to disrespect on any level, the dedication of the Disturbed fan base and everything they've done for us, and I certainly wouldn't be where I am today without them by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm hoping that they love this as well, and I'm hoping that this can affect people even outside of the people that Disturbed affect.
I think it can. I mean, listen to the album quite a bit. I saw you were in a record store buying your own copy.
Always do.
Had to pick up the Best Buy version for that bonus
track. The funny
track.
thing is people think I faked it.
Really?
That's the irony. They think I just posed with the album for the picture. I have it sitting in my house. The record label doesn't send me any copies of my own record. I have to buy my record. I've always had to buy my record. I feel like there's a jinx if I don't go buy the record.
Absolutely.
I did, and I will do that every single record that comes out as long as there are still records to buy.
Let's hope that continues.
Yeah.
Well, back in, I guess it was about 2000, 2001, I was putting on an active rock station in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we wanted to play Stupefy when it first came out. Mm-hmm. And my label guy, my VP, that song's not a hook. It doesn't have a hook. I'm like, the whole song is a hook for active rock. What are you talking about? Yeah. And, of course, I won that battle, and the rest is history. But it's been a long time since you played clubs. What was this like in Mobile the other night?
Yeah.
I mean, I saw you guys back in the day in 300, 400, 500 seaters, and then I've seen you in front of 70,000.
It was a lot of fun. It really was. It was nice.
Is it a rush when you walk out there? And
it's different.
It's a different rush.
And it's different. It's because you're new. These aren't Disturbed songs I'm playing, and this isn't Disturbed. This is Device.
And other than one cover, unless they bought the album Tuesday, they don't know the song.
Right. So it's nice, to go out there and know that you're making a first impression on people live, that you're the new band on the block, you have all this new buzz about you, everybody's curious about you. It's an experience that few musicians ever get to relive.
Right.
And I'm very, very blessed to be able to feel all this again. It's like being reborn.
Because it's one thing to be on that stadium stage and people are 25, 30 feet back from the stage, and here you're going to be sweating on them.
You know what? That's okay. We're one big happy family. I don't think they're going to mind.
So what was the conversation like when Gino said, I really don't want to tour?
It was kind of always understood.
Really?
Gino is very, very entrenched in the film scoring and soundtrack world. That's where he reached out to me from in the first place.
Really?
To do the Underworld soundtrack track. So he's got more than his foot in the door there, and he's got his other projects going on, and he wants to be able to stay close to home to his son. So I always knew going into this that wasn't going to be an option, and that's okay. I respect him tremendously. He's a brilliant songwriter, and I was very, very fortunate to have had the opportunity to have written with him.
So, but you're going out as a three-piece?
Mm-hmm.
So, who's doing what? I know you brought in Will. He's on
Will
drums,
on drums, Virus on guitars, me on vocals, and all of the electronics and synth bass on the sequence.
Okay.
It's very similar to what, Manson or Zombie or Nails or Disturbed or Tool or any number of those bands do. When you hear the electronica going on in the back and there's no guy up there, that's a sequence, okay? And we all do that. We played a click,
sure,
and the click is in time with the sequence, and we had bass synth in it already, and all the bass synth lines don't variate from the guitar progression anyway.
Right.
They all follow it. So why should I have another guy standing up there? For what? It just didn't seem to make any sense. And then, not only from that perspective, but I like being a power trio from hell. I think that's something to be said.
We're going to stand out. It's worked for Rush for 40 years.
Rush, the Police back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Worked for Local H. It's working for Muse pretty goddamn good.
them.
So I think that it'll make us stand out visually. And we'll just be a lean, mean fighting machine, man. I'm digging it.
Awesome.
Felt good last night, that's for sure. Or night before last, I should say.
So what did the label think when you said, I really want to do this?
They didn't know what to think until I gave them music.
Right.
Once I gave them music, they knew exactly what to think.
It comes through clear.
Once I gave them music, there really weren't any more discussions to have. I didn't. First of all, the label would have been supportive of anything I asked of them because we have that kind of respect, and we have a great working relationship. I'm very, very grateful to everything that Warner Brothers has done for us, and particularly in this situation. The setup of this record has been amazing, and I'm very, very, very thankful to them for that. But it's always still, no matter who you are and no matter what you've done, until they can touch, see, smell, hear, and taste it, it isn't real.
It's not real.
And so it took the music, it took the imagery, it took the whole visual aspect of it. It took, putting the entire package together for them to be like, all right, now we have something that is very, very serious. They are treating this with the utmost respect and sincerity and ferocity in terms of their promotion, and I couldn't be happier.
Well, you mentioned the artwork. It's such a powerful image that speaks of Device. It reminds me of like old anime like Ghost in the Shell. It's got it kind of defines Device. Was that brought to you? You came up with it?
That's Paul R. Brown. And him and I worked on an image together, but it was initially his concept. I had him adjust it slightly, but and kind of helped him with how it would end up manifesting. But he's an amazing artist. I haven't had the opportunity to work with him since The Sickness. He's the one who designed The Sickness record.
Oh, okay.
So and he's done worked with Marilyn Manson. He created the whole Mechanical Animals look. So his visionary skills are crazy. Yeah. I mean, if you look at his his reel, it's staggering the type of work that he's got on it. And thanks to my wife Lena for volunteering to be the model for it. I warned her. I told her, this isn't your glamour stuff. You're going to be, in makeup for like a bunch of hours. I mean, just getting made up for a bunch of hours, and it's going to be painstaking.
Like a big film.
Yeah. And
how did she deal with it?
She was a trooper.
Yeah.
And it was not a comfortable experience for her. And let me tell you, I'm not used to having my wife running around naked in front of a whole bunch of people. So that was kind of an uncomfortable experience for me. But she really wanted to do it. She felt very passionate about it. When she read the idea for the cover and the treatment for Vilify, she was like, oh, I have to do this. I have to do this. I'm like, okay, all right, you asked for it. Here it comes.
Now, in social networking, you've been very real. You posted a picture at home with the puppies. Mm-hmm. You posted, I miss my wife.
I do.
Do you like throwing it out there like that?
Yeah.
Social network, you're not one of these artists who's railing against it, even though it's a necessary evil. But...
You know what? If people have not learned by now that you cannot fight technology, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Absolutely.
We live in an age where you do things tastefully. If you wield the weapon if you wield it responsibly, mm-hmm. and you don't abuse it, and you don't whore it out, you're respected for it. And then it's not about taking away from your mystique, it's about enhancing it. And that's what people lose sight of, is that you are only perpetuating this image by interacting. You're helping it. Mm-hmm. You're not detracting from it. This isn't the days of Led Zeppelin anymore, okay? You can't be completely obscure and nobody knows anything about you. You have no choice. You have to utilize the tools that are around you, do so in a respectful and tasteful manner, and you'll continue to be able to connect with your fan base. Without that connection, you might as well not exist.
Exactly.
And people really need to realize the importance of the fans. And look, this all really started in terms of my interaction with the fans is when I started my Twitter page a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. It was like in the middle. It must be 2 years ago. It was
it's been a couple of years.
The July before last. So not quite, but yeah. And when I did it, I did so with the commitment that I was going to utilize it not as a means of like play-by-play of what I do throughout the day per se. Now, you know, the Device Facebook page is a little bit different, and the Instagram thing, which we just started, that's to give people imagery of the band on the road.
Right.
That's to give them a sense of what's happening live so they can actually feel invested in it.
Didn't you love the fan response when Virus posted something and they wait, somebody posted from Device that wasn't all caps?
Yeah. They love that. Yeah, that also kills me. It's like, you know, ladies and gentlemen,
pay attention.
I hate to tell you, but there is a world outside of your computer, and large letters do not actually emit sound. They are just big letters on a screen. Get over yourselves. It's just something I've been doing since the early days of the Disturbed message board. It's like, oh, caps, why you shout? I'm not shouting. They're big letters.
It stands out.
That's it. It stands out. It's a signature thing. You know, the world does exist outside of your computer. Go outside. Open the door. Come see a show. Yeah, you know, so there are far more important things to get upset about.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking the time this afternoon.
You're welcome.
What are the future plans for Device? We know there's going to be a Disturbed record at some point in the future.
Some point. And we have no idea when that's going to be.
But
that
what
may
about
not
Device?
be for, I don't even know how long. Device is going to tour. We're going to beat the hell out of this until it can be beaten no more. We are going to brand this thing. Awesome. And do everything in our power to make it a viable entity that continues. This is not a one-trick pony. We're in this for the long haul. I treat this with the same level of seriousness and sincerity that I do Disturbed. And so I intend to maintain both.
Well, we're going to road trip over to Fort Myers on Sunday and catch you on the big stage, too, but I can't wait to see you in this little place tonight.
You're always welcome, brother.
Well, thank you, David.
Absolutely.